My name's Alan Berman, and I work for architects Berman Stretton in Oxford, and we're standing in a new building occupied by Blackwell's Publishing. I want to talk about this building because I want to illustrate the extent to which design is not just about making things look visually attractive, but actually design can help in making a work environment, or obviously other environments, better places in which to be. There are three features that I want to identify in the building that we designed in order to achieve the client's needs. One of them is the bridge on which we're standing. The idea about that was to make sure that everybody felt united into a single working space rather than being divided around the atrium. Another important design feature was what we call the blue egg. This actually contains two very large and sophisticated meeting spaces. We treated it as a sculptural element which breaks up this rather bland space. Incidentally, in doing that, we managed to arrange for the space on top of what we call the egg to be an informal meeting space. And the third feature in this building is the cafeteria, which we quite specifically chose to put in a very central location rather than locating it hidden away elsewhere in the building, so that people could see when their friends were at lunch. Through imaginative and exciting design, what we've tried to do in this building is to turn what would otherwise be a very sterile and straightforward office box of a building into an exciting environment with lots of features which make it a much more attractive place in which to spend one's working days. Blackwells are an unusually design-conscious client, whereas in Britain and in Oxford, quite particularly, most people are very wary of contemporary design, and I do hope that in the next 10 years or so, people become much more adventurous. I think it's very important to say that in some places in Oxford, clients have commissioned and demanded some very good buildings. The St John's College building has built a number of very good buildings, by the Thomas White building by Arup Associates, the Garden building by McCormack. They've built very good buildings also at Wadham College, St Catherine's College, Oxford. Keble College has built some very good architecture. By and large, the Oxford colleges have commissioned very high quality architecture. I think it's also worth noting that very few of these very high quality examples of modern architecture are not in the public realm. They're not available for people to see. And it's a shame that the town hall and the county and the people whose buildings are in the public domain for the public to see don't generally commission buildings of this caliber. In Europe, particularly city councils understand the benefit of contemporary design, and in places like Paris and Barcelona and Rome, a lot of contemporary design in the public realm is used to make streets and squares much more attractive places to be, and they're places that people enjoy. For example, if Broad Street wasn't simply paved over for cars, but was full of activity, full of cafes, full of people doing things that would provide a focus for the many communities in Oxford. Another example of where design could make a significant improvement is the High Street in Oxford, which has some of the most beautiful buildings on it, but actually all it is full of signs and bad paving. In Europe, it would be treated as an attractive boulevard, it would be full of trees, and it would be a most enjoyable place down which to walk, whereas in Oxford, it's very much a poverty-stricken environment. What I would hope is that by 2015, people have lost their conservative fear of contemporary design. There's a much greater investment of high-quality design across the board, both in buildings, public spaces, and also I'd like to see an investment in places like the Broad and other important urban spaces to make sure that they're enjoyable places in which people can spend time and live.